What's up, everyone? With my channel, I am DJ Black Guy here for the first time. Hit that like button, subscribe button. So, this writer strike, it is happening as we speak. It is going on. There's a writer strike going on in Hollywood as of last night. Yeah, there's a lot of implications for the writer strike. It's going, could down cause a lot of problems for us movie lovers and entertainment across the board for our shows, streaming services, movies, television, everything, films, that could be delayed for a while if strike goes on for a long time. I believe the last strike was in 1997. It lasted about 100 days. And I remember, oh man, there was stuff on reruns and 2007, sorry, not 2007. I remember it caused a lot of issues. Those running on reruns, and I think some of the live shows, like the nightly shows and like SNL and stuff like that, are already going right reruns because writers for the stuff weekly. So we shall see. But this is Cosmic Wonder. Go to their channel. He does a little more explaining about what's going on with strikes. Let's check it out. Here we go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and recently there have been some major developments happening in the movie industry and TV industry in general, not just affecting Marvel Studios, but all of the studios out there. In fact, as of today, all late night shows have been canceled. Shows like The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. These are now not going to produce any new episodes, but are going to simply be showing reruns. And this is all because of a writers' strike, which started this morning. The Writers Guild of America, both East and West, have made the decision to go on strike. And this will affect, like I mentioned, all studios really, but of course it will affect Marvel Studios as well. And if this doesn't...
The problem is, like, if this affects Marvel Studios, so many movies that we're waiting for are probably going to get delayed. Like, what's being written right now? Blaze being written. All the new the DC stuff is being written right now. So be a trickle down effect for how long this thing lasts.
Get resolved soon. This will result in major delays for Phase 5 and Phase 6, including movies like Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, Avengers: Secret Wars, and other upcoming movies that were supposed to come out sooner rather than later, but now it looks like we might have to wait a bit. And this is really all happening because of streaming services with major studios. We're talking Netflix, Disney, Warner Brothers, Amazon, Apple, Sony, all of the really big ones. We live in a very different time now where streaming is basically our main form of entertainment with movies and TV shows. It has dominated cable, and especially
from what I've understand and what I've heard so far, he's probably going to tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I believe that writers are not getting the proper revenue from these streaming services, and that's what their biggest back and forth about.
During the pandemic, where we couldn't really go to the theater and watch movies, streaming services were where the movies were released at. So as of yesterday, projects coming from these major studios are now on hold. Here's what the
what's the one on Prime? Invincible. Damn it. Love that show. That could be delayed.
WGA had to say yesterday. The board of directors of WGA West and the council of WGA East, acting upon authority granted to them by their memberships, have voted unanimously to call a strike effective 12:01 a.m. Tuesday, May 2nd, which is today. The decision was made following 6 weeks of negotiating with Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Disney, Warner Brothers, NBC Universal, Paramount, and Sony under the umbrella of the AMPTP. Though our negotiation committee began this process intent on making a fair deal, the studios' responses have been wholly insufficient given the existential crisis writers are facing. Therefore, earlier today, the WGA negotiating committee unanimously rejected the AMPTP's final offer before deadline and recommended to the WGAW board and the WGAE council the issuance of a strike order. And like I mentioned, that is the Writers Guild of America West, WGAW, and the Writers Guild of America East, WGAE. And as of this morning, this has started. The writers are no longer going to work. Well, they are going to the studios, but they are going to picket. They are outside the studios demanding
Writing.
better
Writing,
pay. So basically, the
protesting.
writers guilds tried to get a better deal for their writers, and the studios did not agree, so now they're on strike. And we're not sure how long this is going to last for. It could be quick, or it could be
Like I said, the last one in 2007 lasted 100 days. That's over 3 months. That's a big delay.
months. Hopefully this gets resolved soon, but let's take a look at some projects that could be very affected by the
interested.
writer's strike
What's on the
at
slate
Marvel
right now?
Studios. Now, I think one of the more devastating projects that will be affected by this is what we've been talking about a
Fantastic
lot
Four.
recently,
Oh,
the
no.
Fantastic Four. Now, again, if this is just a very quick strike, it shouldn't affect it that much, especially since Marvel Studios right now is finalizing the casting choices for the Fantastic Four. However, we do know that if they even have a script, it's not close to being done yet. So the writing for the movie will come to a stop. And of course, there's only so much you can do in development for a movie
Exactly,
if you
not a
don't have a
script.
script.
Yeah.
Now, again, we do have some time, but the release date for the Fantastic
you
Four
see
is
some
now
test
less than
footage,
2
maybe.
years away. If this strike lasts for several months, it could delay the film. And unfortunately, based off of what we have heard from the news, this strike might not end soon. The Writers Guild
Yeah.
of America said that they could not come to a fair agreement. However, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which is the trade association that bargains on behalf of the studios and television networks and streaming platforms,
I know
said
that.
in a statement that its offer to the Writers Guild included a generous increase in compensation for writers. So they
My question is, what do they consider generous? Because my generous may not be you consider. Sometimes, rich people think the money that they have is a lot, or whatever. Some people, like, so, for example, my grandma thinks like $20 is like $500. It's just a different comprehension of what money values to people. They say generous, but might not have been that generous.
They have already offered to give them what they call a generous increase, but the Writers Guild did not accept it. So it looks like the writers are demanding much more, since the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers said that they have already offered a generous increase. Right now, what they are claiming they want is a proposal that would require companies to staff.
We got what? Secret Invasion. We know that. Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out. Echo. I care less about that. Loki could be. Probably already finished that one. Marvel's is already done. Blade, we know that got pushed back already. Ironheart, Daredevil, Captain America, Thunderbolts, all that could be pushed back. God knows how long.
Television shows with a certain number of writers for a specific period of time, whether they are needed or not by the studio. So you can clearly see how some studios would have a problem with that. They wouldn't want to pay for a writer if they are not needed at that time. Now, unfortunately, the movie that is closest to us that is
I
most
get
likely
that.
going to
I
get
understand
delayed
that.
is the Thunderbolts, which is currently set for July 26th of next year, 2024. Basically, anything coming out this year should be fine because the script should be done for
Yeah,
all of the
rewrites.
projects, whether that's a Disney Plus show or a movie. Like the Marvels should be fine. However, if they wanted to go back and do any rewrites, that would be an issue. It would get rather complicated then and could lead to some delays. But the one that we truly have to worry about is the Thunderbolts. And of course, you have to remember that if one project ahead of all the others gets delayed, then
it's
those
gonna
other
push
projects
everybody
behind
back.
it, following it up, they'll coincidentally get delayed as well as collateral damage because Marvel Studios
Domino
is going to have to shift the
Domino effect.
entire schedule if one shifts. And if this doesn't end soon, what is really unfortunate is the movie coming up after the Thunderbolts, which was currently still being written,
America?
is Deadpool 3,
Oh,
which is
Deadpool,
set to come out on
no.
November 8th of 2024. Of course, we're all waiting very eagerly to see Hugh Jackman return as the Wolverine and fight
Yeah,
alongside
I forgot about
and
that.
probably fight with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Now, the only possible good news about this is that Ryan Reynolds was writing a lot of the movie himself, and I'm sure he himself could continue to write the film.
On his
So
own.
this might not
Yeah.
suffer a huge delay, but however, like I mentioned, if the Thunderbolts get pushed back, this will most likely get pushed back as well.
Yep.
But of course, the really big ones that nobody wants to see get pushed back are, of course, like I mentioned, the Fantastic Four, but also our next Avengers films, the Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret
That's already,
Wars.
what,
Unfortunately,
May
these are
25?
at a pretty big risk of being pushed back right now because the movies that are closer to us are closer to being finished. However, we know that Marvel Studios has already hired the writers for Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty, and they have already begun to start working on these films. Well,
They're
now they
stopping
have to
now.
stop. But right now, we're hoping that they are far enough out there with their release dates that nothing will really happen to them.
Yeah, could it,
And
how
they
far
are scheduled
into it
to
could they
be a
get?
year apart. So even if the King Dynasty gets delayed a little bit, hopefully that wouldn't really affect Avengers Secret Wars. However, we have to keep in mind that there are movies that are going to be released in between them. So it really just kind of has a domino effect. If
America,
one
World at
project
War.
gets delayed enough, the next one gets delayed and the next one, and so on and so forth. But some of them are a ways out there, like our Avengers film. So hopefully they are far enough out there to where they really aren't that affected. And hopefully Marvel Studios can just simply shuffle their schedules around just a little bit to make it to where
Hopefully.
things aren't really super delayed. But hopefully they figure this out very soon and the Writers Guild of America can make a deal that they think is
I hope
fair
so,
for them
too.
and also fair for the studios. Like I mentioned, this could last a few days or this could last several months. And if we hear anything else, we'll definitely be sure to do an
Like the
update
last
video.
one.
So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest news. Also, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment down below so you can enter our giveaway for a chance to win it.
Yeah, so that's the issue at hand right now. Writers are on strike. All we gotta do is wait. I guess, as fans, we have to wait, sit back, and hopefully come with a deal. I see the point of the writers, where they want their actual like revenue and stuff, and that whole thing about paying them if they're not there. I kind of get that, but then and again, it's like if you want to keep me on board, pay me. I can go somewhere else, but I don't know. I'm not a writer, though, but hope they figure it out because I'm looking forward to a bunch of these. But yeah, I hope so. Hope they figure it out soon. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you go over to Cosmic Wonder and subscribe to him. He puts out some good videos too. Till next time, guys, I will see you when I see you.